The story begins with an old race car named Herby, who was once the best race car of his time. No other car had ever been able to compete with him. Herby and his owner could easily reach even the most difficult places together. But one day, Herby met with a terrible accident. After that, he started losing every competition. Eventually, his owner decided to send Herby to the junkyard. That day, Herby met the junkyard owner, Dave, but Herby didn't like him at all. The truck driver told Dave not to mess with Herby, because this car cannot tolerate any kind of insult. When Dave tried to unload Herby from the truck, Herby spilled petrol on his shoes. The driver pushed Herby from behind, and Dave started pulling him with chains. At first, Herby tried his best not to move forward, but suddenly, he saw a way out. Taking the chance, Herby ran outside. But during the escape, his tires got stuck in metal spikes and got punctured. Now, unwillingly, Herby had to stay back with the rest of the junk cars. He knew that after a few days, he too would be crushed and destroyed. A few weeks later, we see a girl named Maggie, who arrives at her graduation on a skateboard. Her father was very proud of her because Maggie was the first girl in the family to complete graduation. Looks like a very studious family. Maggie's father was a race car coach, and he invited her to watch a race that her brother, Ray Jr., was participating in. When they both arrived at the racetrack, they met Ray Jr.'s sponsor, Sally. But as usual, while making a turn, Ray Jr. crashed the car again. The truth was, Ray Jr. was preparing for a professional racing competition, but the problem was he didn't have any racing talent. Later, when Maggie came home, she saw some paintings on the wall that reminded her of her grandfather, who was one of the best racers of his time. Inspired by him, Maggie had started racing at the age of 15. But one day, Maggie had an accident, and everything changed. After that, her father strictly told her to stop racing. Anyway, her father told her that the next morning, they would go buy her graduation gift. The next morning, Maggie and Ray went to the junkyard so Maggie could choose a car she liked. At that moment, Herby saw Maggie and made up his mind that he wanted to go home with her. Herby tried to go near Maggie, but because one of his back tires was missing, he couldn't even move. At that very moment, Herby was picked up to be crushed. To save himself, Herby started honking loudly so that Maggie would notice him. But Maggie liked a Nissan car that was parked right in front of Herby. She was just about to finalize the deal with Dave when suddenly, Herby broke free from the crane and fell right on top of the Nissan. The car was completely smashed. In the end, Maggie had no other choice, so she decided to buy Herby. After bringing Herby home, Ray did some minor repairs on him and told Maggie to take him to Kevin's garage. When Maggie sat inside Herby, a letter popped out from the dashboard. It was from Herby's previous owner. The letter said, "Take good care of Herby." But as soon as Maggie started the car, it began to drive on its own and went out of control, and Maggie got really scared. She drove straight to Kevin's garage. Maggie was meeting her school friend Kevin after many years. Kevin had liked Maggie since their school days, but he had never been able to express his feelings. Anyway, he said he would repair Herby, but for that, he would need to take Herby on a test drive. When Maggie and Kevin went for the drive, Herby started releasing a lot of smoke on the road. Maggie decided to return the car, but Herby wasn't going to let that happen. He lifted his front tires and started speeding out of Maggie's control. He drove straight into a sports car museum, where Maggie met her old classmate Trip. Trip was a NASCAR Cup champion, so a crowd gathered around to see him. Meanwhile, Herby kept honking nonstop, so Maggie opened his hood to turn off the horn. But at that moment, Herby sprayed petrol on her and ruined her clothes. Just then, Kevin found a racing suit and helmet in Herby's trunk, so Maggie wore the suit. When Trip saw Maggie's car, he laughed at its poor condition and said, "You should take this car back to the circus." Hearing this, Herby got angry and scratched Trip's car using his side mirror. Seeing this, Trip became furious. The people around suggested that they should settle the matter by racing. Maggie tried to apologize to Trip, but Herby locked all the doors and windows by himself and drove straight onto the track. Soon, Herby switched gears and the race began. Maggie tried to control Herby, but he was completely out of control. Even with his old and worn-out parts, Herby managed to catch up with Trip's car. Then Trip tried to push them off the track by ramming into them. This time, Maggie also got angry and decided to defeat Trip. Instead of trying to control Herby, she chose to support him. Together, they once again caught up with Trip. Trip tried to hit them again, but this time Herby smartly spun himself, surprising Trip completely. Now, both cars were close to the finish line. Herby climbed up onto the side safety bar, and in just a few moments, he overtook Trip and won the race. Finally, after the race ended, Trip was extremely angry because he had lost from an old, broken-down car. Later, Maggie went to the garage and told Kevin that it wasn't her who had won the race, but Herby had won it. But Kevin didn't pay much attention to what she said and simply congratulated her on the victory. The biggest thing was that Maggie had defeated a NASCAR Cup champion with a 1963 car. The next morning, Maggie saw that her father and brother were arguing. The truth was, because of Ray Jr.'s poor performance, another sponsor had pulled out. At that moment, Sally arrived at their house in her yellow Beetle car, and as soon as Herby saw her, he fell in love. Meanwhile, Sally showed Ray the video of yesterday's race, and he was shocked to see that Maggie had won the race with that old, beat-up car. But he was very angry that Maggie had participated in the race, even though he had told her not to. To calm things down, Maggie said that it wasn't her. It was her friend Max who was driving the car. Now Maggie decided that she would race using the name Max. On the other hand, Tripp was very upset about his loss. His manager Larry tried to calm him down, saying that one normal race doesn't matter. But this time, Tripp's ego was hurt, and he said he wanted a rematch. He told his team to organize a 2-day race competition because he knew Maggie would definitely come. Meanwhile, Maggie went to Kevin's garage. Kevin showed her his new project. He was planning to modify Herby into a new race car. But Maggie told him that she couldn't race anymore because years ago, after her accident, she had promised her father that she would never race again. Just then, Herby saw a newspaper ad that said the winner of the racing competition would receive a $100 prize. As soon as Maggie sat inside the car, Herby moved his hood, causing the newspaper to fly up and land right on the windshield. When Maggie saw that the race winner would receive a $100 prize, she thought, "That's enough money to cover my trip to New York." Kevin then said that if Maggie agreed to participate in the race, he would repair Herby for free, and if she won, they would split the prize money 50-50. Even though Maggie was still a little scared, she finally agreed to take part in the race. After that, both of them started working together to turn Herby into a race car. They washed Herby, changed some of his parts, and even installed a sunroof. That night, Maggie overheard Ray and Sally talking. Sally said she heard a rumor that their last investor might also pull out. Hearing this, Maggie made up her mind. No matter what, she would win that race and get the prize money. Finally, the new race day arrived, and Tripp was shocked to see Herby's new and stunning look. He asked Maggie how she met Max, and Maggie tried to distract him with small talk. Just then, Kevin came over and helped her out of the situation. Soon, the first round of the race began. Many cars were taking part, but only one could win. It was announced that whoever wins today's race will compete against Tripp's car tomorrow, and if they beat Tripp, they will win a $100 prize. The race started, and Herby defeated everyone and won the race. Now, tomorrow, Herby would compete against Tripp's car. Later that evening, Tripp was watching a video of the race. He noticed that red hair was visible from under Max's helmet. Tripp immediately understood that Max was actually Maggie. Meanwhile, Herby saw the yellow Beetle car again and was drawn to her. When Maggie saw Herby's reaction, she realized that Herby had a mind of his own. Later, Kevin gave Maggie a good luck charm necklace as a gift. Just then, Tripp suddenly walking up to them. Tripp told Kevin that he wanted to talk to Maggie alone. After Kevin left, Tripp asked Maggie why she didn't race in her own name. He said that he himself had been inspired by Maggie's grandfather to start racing. Then he asked Maggie, "What is the real race?" Tripp handed his car keys to Maggie and said, "Want to take it for a spin?" Maggie was very happy and excited, but Herby felt jealous seeing her getting into another car. As soon as Maggie took Tripp's supercar for a drive, Tripp saw the chance and started checking Herby's engine. But Herby was ready. He sprayed petrol on Tripp's face and slammed his hood on his head. Tripp got angry, grabbed a hammer from his toolbox, and started hitting Herby hard. But Herby had already made his body extra strong. Not even a scratch appeared. When Tripp turned around, Herby made funny faces at him to tease him. A few minutes later, Maggie returned and said that the drive was one of the best moments of her life. That's when Tripp made a deal. In tomorrow's race, whoever wins will get $100 and the loser's car. At first, Maggie hesitated, but then she thought about her father's condition and agreed to the bet. She knew Tripp's car was expensive, and if she won, she could sell it and help her father. She also believed she could win with Herby, so she accepted the challenge. But when Herby found out that Maggie had made a bet using him, he felt very sad. The next morning, when Maggie woke up, she saw her friend Charisma in the kitchen. Charisma said they should leave for New York right away, but Maggie told her that she had a race to attend today. She also invited Charisma to come along. Then they both went to Kevin's garage, where Kevin was ready to help them. Herby was acting very strangely. Kevin told Maggie to try talking to Herby, but when Maggie angrily said, "You have to do what I say," Herby got even more upset. Anyway, it was time for the big race. Herby and Tripp's car were both at the starting line. As soon as the race began, Herby quickly sped ahead, but Tripp's car kept overtaking him again and again. When they were just about to reach the finish line, Herby suddenly hit the brakes and lost the race on purpose. Maggie stepped out of the car, confused and angry. Tripp told her to remove her helmet and show everyone who she really was. When Maggie took off her helmet, everyone was shocked to see her face. Even her father, Ray, saw her from the crowd. Maggie was very angry at Herby for losing the race. Kevin tried to calm her down and told her they should leave with Herby. But just then, Tripp appeared again and told Maggie about a new deal. Then he took full control of Herby and didn't let him go. Kevin got very angry and walked away. Soon after, Maggie's dad came to talk to her. He was very disappointed because Maggie had been lying to him the whole time. Maggie tried to explain herself, but he didn't want to listen. Maggie was very upset, so she decided to leave for New York that same day with her friend Charisma. But Charisma tried to convince her, "You shouldn't waste your amazing racing talent." Finally, Maggie understood, and she went to get Herby back from Tripp. But Tripp lied and said his friend Crash had taken Herby out for a drive. In reality, Herby was in big trouble. He had been taken to a monster truck competition where he was about to be completely destroyed. As soon as the show began, giant monster trucks started crashing into Herby one after another. Seeing this, Maggie ran to save him, but the security guards stopped her. So, Maggie went to the owner of the place and said, "I want to buy my car back." The old man replied, "If that car can come back in one piece, you can take it for free." Right then, a monster truck drove up and was about to smash Herby to pieces. At that moment, Charisma distracted the guard, and Maggie saw her chance. She jumped into the arena to save Herby. Now, Maggie had to dodge all those giant monster trucks to reach Herby. As soon as Herby saw Maggie, he felt very happy, like he finally had hope. But just then, a monster truck was about to fall right on her. At the last second, Herby drove under her, opened his sunroof, and pulled her inside, saving her life. Then, Herby threw Crash out of the driver's seat and started driving with Maggie again. They both tried to escape the monster truck arena. Herby smartly dodged every vehicle that came in front of him. But suddenly, one huge monster truck came up from behind to crush him. So, Herby drove on top of another car and jumped into the air, landing straight on top of the monster truck. After defeating all the monster trucks, Maggie took Herby straight to Kevin's garage. Kevin was shocked to see Herby in such bad shape, but he quickly started fixing him. The next day, they all went to watch Ray Jr.'s race, but he had another accident. At the hospital, the doctor said Ray Jr. had a problem with his left eye and couldn't race on Sunday. Ray Jr. then asked his dad to let Maggie race instead, but Ray said no. Then Maggie spoke up. She said, "I've dreamed of being a racer since I was a child." Maggie asked her dad, "Why didn't you let me race just because of one accident? You always let Ray Jr. race, even after so many crashes." Her dad, Ray, got emotional and said, "You look just like your mom. I lost her once. I don't want to lose you too." Meanwhile, Kevin needed some parts to fix Herby, but the supplier told him, "I won't give you anything until you clear your old payment." Just then, Ray Jr. came in. He told his sister Maggie to take his place in the NASCAR competition, but Maggie said, "I'll race only if it's with Herby." Then, Ray Jr. called his entire pit crew to help. Together, they all worked hard and repaired Herby in no time. They even gave him a cool, brand new paint job. On Sunday, Tripp arrived at the NASCAR competition stadium. He was shocked to see Herby alive and ready to race. He asked Crash, "Why didn't you destroy Herby like I told you?" Then Larry told Tripp, "I got a new ad contract. I couldn't let anything happen to Herby." But right now, Tripp didn't care about anything else. Before the race started, Maggie talked to Herby. She said sorry to him, and they decided to work together as a team. Then, both of them went to the racing track. Everyone was watching them. At the same time, Maggie's dad Ray saw her on TV and got very worried. He didn't want her to risk her life. Back on the track, all the racers changed their steering wheels and took a warm-up test drive. As soon as the race began, all the cars sped off quickly. Herby and Maggie were at the back in the beginning, but soon, they also started moving ahead with speed. Ray decided to go to the stadium himself to watch his daughter race. In the race, Tripp was in the lead, but Herby soon caught up to him. Suddenly, the other cars surrounded them. There was no space for Maggie to move forward. But then, Maggie heard her dad's voice. He shouted that Maggie had everything it takes to win the race. Hearing his words, Maggie was filled with confidence and energy. Somehow, Maggie and Herby came out of the group of cars. But now there was a big problem. Herby's fuel tank was leaking. Without fixing it, they couldn't win the race. At the pit stop, the mechanics fixed the leak, but they warned that if Herby got even one more hit, he might not be able to finish the race. The race started again. This time, Herby was right next to Tripp's car. Both cars were racing side by side, very close to winning. Tripp tried to hit Herby. During that moment, the sticker on Herby's tank fell off. When Tripp tried to hit again, Maggie quickly hit the brakes. Tripp's car went out of control and crashed into the wall. But Herby climbed up the side fence, did a risky stunt, and zoomed ahead of all the other cars. In the end, they won the race. And with that, Maggie became the first female champion of the NASCAR race. She celebrated her big win with her family and friends. On the other hand, Trip was super angry. He shouted, "This car is haunted. She doesn't even know how to drive." But no one listened to him. Maggie smiled and thanked him for always helping her. A few weeks later, we see that Maggie's dad, Ray, tells Herby to come home early because a big race is coming up again soon. That night, Herby went out for a fun drive with his Beetle girlfriend. If you liked the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel.